If you need help with Arkveld in Monster Hunter Wilds, then we've got you covered. But we would recommend trying to fight the monster on your own first, as it is one of the best ways a hunter can learn. Arkveld is a huge acrobatic wyvern who takes its place as the new flagship monster of Monster Hunter Wilds. It uses its tendrils and chains to strike from long range, but can also close the distance quickly to strike up close and personal too. Its main weapon being its plated tendrils that extend from its arms, which can be empowered with dragon energy to extend and change its moveset and cover a much larger area. This monster mainly deals elemental dragon damage, which you can mitigate by equipping dragon resistance gear and decorations, or eating dragon resistance meals before a hunt. Using focus mode attacks on wounds helps to break parts quicker, which reduces its offensive effectiveness for the remainder of the fight. And although it may be mobile and agile for its massive size, some moves allow for some very large windows to fight back. One other quick thing to mention is that when Arkveld does grab you, you can use slinger pods to shoot his mouth to break yourself free again. Let's have a look at the main moveset and mechanics then. Ground scrape is where Arkveld shifts to the side and lifts one of its wings before pulling it backwards, so dodge this at the height of the wing lift to avoid it easier. Arkveld's tendrils have a bunch of forms depending on its empowered states. In normal form, it will slam the ground with a single or double tendril attack, which leaves an opening for you to strike back if you can avoid it, and there's also a wind-up cue as it pulls its arms back before it strikes. Then there's the other types of tendril strikes to be wary of, like backhand strikes and backward spins. Arkveld will use these strikes as positioning tools to follow up with more attacks afterwards. When empowered, Arkveld's tendrils will become imbued by dragon elements and potentially another element depending on the location. These also split from 2 to 4, creating a different strike moveset. Some of these are quick and fast, and some have a much larger area of effect, as well as potentially leaving some explosion effects on the ground too. Here's a few visual examples of the element-specific moves like Tendrils Ground Explosions and Thunder Tendril Sweep. Sometimes Arkveld will cover its head with one of its wings and then charge at you, dealing a decent chunk of damage whilst barreling through, so make sure you block this one or dodge it if you can. Another common way Arkveld will close the distance is to leap and strike with its arms. A good way to see this one coming though is to keep an eye out for any sudden or jerky movements whilst it's slowly prowling with its eyes locked onto you. Look out for the red lightning cloud under its wings before the strike. Arkveld will sometimes jump backwards and forwards whilst twisting and striking with its body in a sweeping upwards motion. This one is also infused with dragon element when empowered. Dodging to the opposite side of where its head is facing during the forward part of the movement seems to be the best way to avoid this one. One attack that likely won't occur quite as often is its tail attacks, unless you're hovering around its rear for far too long. It also has a 360 spin attack with its tail too, but if you cut off its tail, you can stop these attacks from occurring. There's also some major, potentially fatal one-shotting moves you'll need to be extremely careful of. For the dual claw slam, Arkveld will signal that it's attacking with one arm just like a regular tendril strike, but instead then slam both arms straight into the ground, dealing huge frontal cone damage and blowing you away. So look out for the head tilt upwards just before the attack and get out of the way if you can. The nuclear wyvern strike is definitely the most powerful move in Arkveld's arsenal though. It will roar and glow vibrantly to charge up and then strike the ground, chaining 3 explosions that grow in size and basically just annihilate everyone in the area. Make sure you avoid its frontal arc once that charge up begins, and if you can get behind it during this attack, you'll also get a huge opening to deal damage whilst uncontested. So that's Arkveld and all its moves in a nutshell, but if you do want to see this monster in more detail, check out our written guide complete with matching clips for each move and mechanic over on our website at moveset.gg or click the link below. Good luck guys, and happy hunting!